What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 11 of season 1 of DanDaDan. If you didn't watch this episode, make sure to go watch that. We're going to be talking full spoilers ahead, and we'll do a real quick recap. This episode was chaos, but not a whole lot happened. So we are introduced to Jiji, who is Momo's old friend and first crush. And he is staying with Momo and her grandma. We find out because his parents are in the hospital, and he recently started being able to see ghosts, and he has a ghost that's basically pursuing him. And there have been 3 out of 5 exorcists who have tried to help him with it, self-delete. And so he's having issues. He came for help and to find a place to stay, and Grandma's not gonna do it herself. She is tasking Momo with taking care of this, right?
She can't use her powers outside of her bubble, basically.
So, we quickly find out that Jiji is apparently a hot dude who's super cool, but we see that he's, I don't even know how to put it.
He's a dork.
He's energetically a dork. Yeah. He's a huge dork, constantly just moving and pointing at stuff. It's hilarious. So this brings up some thoughts with Akarun about basically jealousy type stuff, being worried about how it's going to affect his relationship, friendship, potential future relationship with Momo.
His feelings he hasn't sorted yet.
Yeah. At the very least, he's worried that she won't be around anymore to at least even talk about occult stuff with him. Jiji goes to school with them. Everyone thinks he's hot and cool, even though he's a complete dork. He starts saying that him and Momo are living together and that they are lovey-dovey, and Momo gets pissed, and even Momo's friends defend Akarun, one doing a sumo move, which I thought was really funny. While Akarun's taking all that in, he's out back exercising, and Momo ends up finding him. They're hanging out. Jiji shows up, offers Momo a drink she really likes. Akarun gets upset by that. He goes to walk off, and then he runs into a screaming medical mannequin guy who's chasing after him, ends up jumping over Momo and Jiji, and he has a golden ball, which gives us a lot of questions about what's going on. Also, I feel like I skipped something earlier. What's her name? Ira?
Yeah.
What was up with her? She said something about Momo and Jiji and then ran off.
She views Jiji as another demon joining Momo's now growing army, and once their alliance to defeat the aliens is over, Momo's next.
Yep. She just took the fuck off. I like how she just thinks she's like a paladin or something. Anyway, I just remembered that happened because I was like, she wasn't really in this episode, so I had to remember. So anyway, they end up pursuing the Screaming Man, Jiji, Momo, Akarun. She's using her psychic powers or telekinesis powers to basically hold on to him while they're running. Gigi's just there for the ride, observing everything that's happening. Akarun's catching up in his form, running fast, and at one point the mannequin dude, while just picking up the octave of just screaming and getting louder and louder and louder, breaks apart and then reassembles himself. While that happened, Momo took his heart and is able to track him down by hitting the heart, and he screams every time that happens. They track him down to a junkyard, and he is basically finding his true love, who was disposed of, who's also a mannequin or whatever they're called.
Past manufacture date.
Yeah, and
whatever.
They have this big moment where he is saying that he loves her and he'll never give up on her, and that's what he was running to. And the whole time they're watching, Akarun is having a lot of thoughts about this himself. kind of self-reflecting off everything this screaming dude is talking about.
Basically the perfect song for his emotions.
Yeah. And we leave off there.
Yeah.
Really chaotic episode between Jiji not being able to sit still and not being able to shut up, and then the screaming man who can't stop himself from running and screaming the whole time. What we think?
It was entertaining, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I think the only part we really kind of missed is in the beginning. Jiji is very good at buttering up Grandma by always complimenting and calling her beautiful, and her response is always to call him a genius and then give him more food.
Yep.
So, but then she's not being swayed. Of course not.
I hate how when he first shows up, he points at Momo. He's like, "Oh, you're cutie," and then like he says that to Grandma, and then he's at the school and he's just calling everybody that. I'm just like, it's so stupid.
I like it. Yeah, it's just like, hey, how do I get everyone like me? I call him cute.
Smart.
So, yeah, he's definitely a character. I, to an extent, hope this isn't just what he does, because it was fun for this episode, but if this is just his character,
I have a feeling, and I think this is why I think he's a dork, but he's like already one of my favorite characters in the show. He reminds me of Zenitsu in the sense that he will probably get serious at certain points, but then he's also ridiculous at other points.
Well, and I need the useful part.
Yeah, we got to get there.
And we'll get there, obviously.
We already know he can see ghosts, though, so he's already kind of tapped into something.
But yeah, if he's just this guy all the time, that's going to get exhausting. So
I'll love it.
But right now,
so hilarious.
It's good. So, yeah, then Okarun dealing with his turn of jealousy, because we already had Momo's with Ira in the back alley, or not back alley, the back of the school or whatever. And so now it's Okarun's turn to experience that, which is a funny kind of twist of events for us, the viewers, obviously.
It's so funny to be
kind of develop feelings while being very ignorant of it. So.
Yeah, it's funny to be watching Ranma in this back to back, because they both have similar dynamics. And I won't talk about Ranma in case you're not watching. You should go watch it though, whether you watch the original or watch this Mappa one. But not really a spoiler, but the whole like love triangle thing, and then like new people being introduced that kind of exacerbate that. And then watching this has like a similar dynamic where there's now like four people who are kind of like, you know, exacerbating things. So it's just weird to be watching two different shows that have similar themes like that. Very different otherwise, though.
Yeah, a little rom-com element, though.
Yeah.
That is basically the name of the game for Ranma. But yeah, then, you know, them having a brief moment in the back of the school while Okarun does the responsible thing to deal with his emotions and works out. Not something I'm good at. I usually result in eating things. So, but Momo asks if he's eaten, and she offers to feed him, which is a cutesy little moment. And Okarun gets real embarrassed and is immediately ruined because Jiji shows up and has her favorite drink and totally takes his high away from him instantly. So, and then the mannequin for a good was probably like 10 minutes of just screaming and saying, "I'm not going to give up." And I can't describe it in any way that would give it justice. Like, it is such a crazy just moment of this guy going for the world record, basically. I got somewhere to be. You can't stop me. I will rip myself apart and reassemble myself if I have to. So
yeah, he was on a fucking mission.
Yeah, big determination. So that was a lot of fun, and just such extreme, just like constant slow close up of his face as his volume and gets higher and his jaw opens up more and more. It was so perfectly done. It was
it's ridiculous.
Hilarious. So, and then we'll see the resolution of that obviously next episode, and then not to talk too much about it, but the creepy scene they showed after the credits. So which I think is the last episode of this core. I don't think there will be a second core. If you know for sure, let me know. But I looked it up and it said 12 episodes, so I assume that's all we're getting. So.
Yeah, and if that's the case, what we'll do is we'll watch that episode, we'll review that episode, but in the same episode, we'll do a whole season review as well. So stay tuned for that if you're curious about our thoughts on the whole season.
Yep, but overall fun episode. So.
Yeah. Yeah, like I've said in almost every review we've done so far, I never know where the show is going, which I love. Every episode is just a surprise, both between like the character dynamics that I feel are what's the word I'm looking for? That allow the characters to be vulnerable, which is interesting. I like that. It makes you care for the characters more, but then also how bizarre the show allows itself to be, or the story in general. And so this episode, even though it was like pretty minimal in what even happened, basically dude shows up, he's having problems, they're going to help him, and then a running guy. But they managed to make it really crazy. There's a lot of bizarre shit in this episode, and it's a lot of fun. I instantly, when Jiji showed up in the last episode, was like, oh, he's going to be like an issue for Akarun. This episode, as soon as he talked, I was like, oh shit, dude, I love this character. It's definitely my kind of character. It's so stupid and ridiculous. That he's always just pointing at people, and he's always like in weird positions, and he's always constantly moving and shit, and he's just schmoozing everyone. It's so stupid, and I love how it's working on Granny.
And everyone in his class.
Yeah.
Including Momo's friends, who still, at the end of the day, defend her, but they're just like slowly falling for him in that moment.
Not even slowly, dude. Instantly, it just worked. As soon as he showed up, they're like, "Whoa, he's cool," and then he started talking. They're like, "Whoa." Yeah, I love that. I love that he's such a dork, but also liked. It's hilarious to me. Yeah, so I'm curious to see where his story goes, though. I'll be curious to see if he gets any abilities. Please no spoilers if you do know that, because he's in the intro. He's definitely seems like a main character. I think he'll fit right in. But yeah, I'm curious to see where his story arc goes, because it's interesting that he even has anything going on at all. Also curious to see where the gold ball in the mannequin guy goes, because that's kind of interesting as well, why this is even happening. But it was definitely entertaining. The whole time I'm like, wait, what's happening? Why is this happening? We'll find out. Yeah, we'll find out. But like, it's funny. It's funny. The action sequence was done well. A lot of good animation. A lot of imaginative stuff for just a chase sequence. But it was a lot of fun to watch. Also, I really enjoyed the more human elements of the episode with Akarun and just kind of digesting his feelings, thinking about things. It reminds me of, being in high school and just not knowing how to fully communicate how you feel, not knowing how to interpret how other people probably feel, being confused by that, getting in your own head. Something that a lot of people do anyway, but you really, see that a lot with younger people because they haven't really experienced life yet. And the show feels very transparent about those kind of feelings, which I think is a lot of fun, but also gives the show a lot of heart. Also knowing that even the scene where Akarun was walking home at the slowest speed you could ever walk anywhere, to see that Momo even, because of things in the past where Akarun just feels like, if things don't go well, it's over. He's probably never going to talk to her, stuff like that. She has to keep reasserting that, like, hey, I wanna see you again. I want to hang out. So, when you leave, say see you tomorrow. Don't just like walk off like this is the last time we're going to see each other. So yeah, those scenes, are subtle, but there's a lot of meaning behind them. I think that's a lot of fun as well. Anything else in the episode really worth mentioning? Yeah, I'm just curious to see where the Jiji arc goes. The little bit of Iroh we got in this episode was hilarious. She went from a character I thought was a psychopath to a character I think is still a psychopath, but a charming and funny psychopath. So that's been
she's not okay.
Yeah, she's. I love her though, because like she just reminds me of like a paladin. She thinks she's just fighting evil, and it's hilarious to me how dedicated she is to that. Yeah. All the while being insane. So. Yeah, that's pretty much this whole show in a nutshell. Obviously, we'll talk about it on our final review, but this show has just been starts off one way, and I was like, oh wait, I actually like that, because like when she first showed up, I'm like, she fucking sucks, I hate her. And now I'm like, no, I like her, she's cool, she's just crazy. Just like Jiji showed up, I'm like, who's this guy? Now I'm like, oh okay, no, he's cool. So yeah, that's been this whole show in a nutshell. Overall though, a lot of fun in this episode, really enjoyed it. Some good downtime between major events. Next episode definitely seems like we'll be picking up on some kind of major beat, and if it's the last episode, that's gonna suck, but I'm sure that we'll get a season 2, considering I see a lot of people talking about the show like all the time, so it's obviously popular. I think that's all I got. You got anything?
I think that's it.
Let us know in the comments what you guys think about this episode. What were the big highlights that you enjoyed? Maybe there's something that happened in the episode that we didn't really touch on. Let us know in the comments. And stay tuned. We'll be doing another review for this show, and then the season review, if that's the last episode. I believe it is. We're going to continue watching Ranma. If it continues past episode 12, we can't find information on that. If you know, let us know. We'll be doing a mid-season review at that point, because we haven't done any content on that. And then of course, if you have recommendations for animes, movies, whatever you'd like us to watch and review, let us know in the comments. I know we are planning on watching Sakamoto Days next season, so in January we'll start watching that, so stay tuned for that. And I think that's gonna do it. I've been Seth, this is Chevy, and we'll talk to you guys later.